episode 131, another analysis, cash on cash based on leverage and purchase price. This is the 39.6 Facebook and YouTube Live Finance Show, the show that teaches high earners like yourselves how to make your money work for you so you don't have to work for your money. This is a 5-Minute Friday episode. We're going to do another sensitivity analysis. If you didn't see episode 130 yesterday, I kind of go through it slowly, looking at net operating income, cap rate, and IRR. This is a separate sensitivity analysis, also with two variables, looking at how much you pay for the property, the purchase price, as well as the amount of leverage you take on, the loan to cost. Okay, so the loan to cost is the amount of your mortgage divided by the total cost of the project. That would be the total cost, including purchasing the project and any other money it'll take to get it done. So for example, I was waiting for the music to finish. For example, if you're building a project from scratch, well, the loan to cost, the cost would be the entire cost to build the property and get everything going, okay? That proportion, the loan to cost, is what we call your leverage. And the more leverage you take, okay, a lever, the more leverage, the bigger the gains can be, but also the higher the risk is because you're taking on a bigger mortgage. Okay, but basically using yesterday's example, purchase price of $1 million, buying at a cap rate of 5%, which would yield a net operating income of $50,000. Okay, so you look at the trailing 12, you see $50,000 of net operating income. And let's say that you're not going to spend any money other than just buying the asset. Okay, you don't need to spend any money for capital expenditures or CapEx, as we call it. And you're going to do 70% down, 30% down, which would mean that your loan to cost is 70%, or your leverage is 70%. So you're putting in $300,000. Interest rate on the mortgage is 3%, which is $21,000 a year of interest, which means that your cash flow is $50,000 minus the $21,000 equals $29,000. We're going to assume the mortgage is interest only, and that gives you the cash on cash of 9.7%, which is what we showed yesterday. Yesterday we talked about exit cap rate, so I had a separate column. Here we're just going to be looking at, on the buy side, what price can you pay at what leverage to get the returns you're looking for, okay? Or especially if you're trying to raise capital and get investors to bring up their money, they have to get a return that will incentivize them to invest with you, okay? So I've highlighted the row that says $1 million because that's the example that we are buying it at $1 million. And if you go all the way to the right side, the last column, at 0%, that's the header. That means 0% leverage. That means buying it all in. Well, look at that. Your cash on cash return would be 5% because that's exactly equal to the cap rate you're buying it at. So the cap rate, by definition, is also the cash on cash return in an unlevered purchase. Okay. Now on the purchase price column, I have increments of $25,000 ranging from from $850,000 all the way up to $1.15 million. So obviously the cheaper you get it, you're still going to get that same $50,000 of net operating income, okay, because the purchase price and the net operating income are independent of each other. So if you get it really cheap, you can see these numbers are all higher at the top. Okay, if you bought it with 90% leverage, you have a 31.8% cash on cash return, okay, because $50,000 of net operating income on an $850,000 property at 3% interest is incredible, okay? Now, how would you get 90%? Well, let's pretend you were house hacking this property, right? And you bought it at 10% down. You could even have 95% or 100% leverage if you're house hacking. But if you're not house hacking, you're pretty much at 80% would be the best. And if you're at 850,000, you're getting 17% cash on cash. That's super, super, super high, right? If you're at $1 million, it's 13%. And if you're at 1.15, it's 9.7%. Okay. And you can see the colors. I use conditional formatting to go from red to green to show how high and how low. If you're buying at 1.15 million in cash, you're only getting 4.3% cash on cash. Okay, so if you're trying to get investors and you're trying to say, hey, we're going to get 7% cash on cash, well, you better be getting higher than 7% at that overall asset level, because you have to give a split to the general partners. So you'd want to get, let's say, at least 8% cash on cash. And so you would have to basically block out any prices or leverage that would be less than 8%. Okay, and that's kind of how you can think about what price you can buy something for and how much leverage you'll need. This is just one of many things to look at, but it's nice to be able to see that very readily, because cash on cash is one of the huge, most important things you need to look for when analyzing an asset. That's it for today, our 6-Minute Friday, episode number 131. Again, this is not legal, professional, financial, accounting, or any other advice, simply for my entertainment and hopefully yours. Until tomorrow for episode 132. I think, yeah, we got 2 Jetties in here. Hello, Jetties. Yes, who color coded this? Yeah, Vina, it's called conditional formatting. It's pretty awesome. You can say you learned this like today. Yeah, you just go to home and conditional formatting right there, and you just go to color scales, and then you just choose what color scale you want, and it does it for you automatically. It's super fun. And yep, there you go. Project level and investor level. Yes, it is very important. I did not do a GP-LP split. This is just at the asset level. So, all right, good night.